So, good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. So, welcome to your leadership development training. This is going to be quite a quick session. It's about half an hour, so we will just push through things. If you need extra time, anything, just give me a shout, let me know, and we can slow things down a little bit. Just to remind you that this is being recorded for training purposes, so just make sure everyone is okay with that.
Yeah, that's all good.
Let's get started. So for today's session, as I said, it is going to be quite quick. So we're just going to run through some housekeeping, and then we're going to do introductions to ourselves. Obviously, there's only 2 of us, so it's not going to take too long. The aims and objectives before we dive into the session content. A few housekeeping things. Just ask that you do keep your phone on silent, have a drink to hand, because it's quite discussion based. Might get thirsty. Have the handouts accessible. I believe you only really need the case study one, but obviously it's quite nice to have your testing stuff and some other bits, and then just make sure you've got pen and paper, because taking notes, and there are some activities that I will get you to write some bits down for. Mostly I do ask that you keep your cameras on, which you know some people don't like, some people like, just because it helps me know how well you're engaging with the session, and facial expressions do generally let me know if it's confused or stuck. So we'll be checking it. And just as I said earlier, you are being recorded, so don't worry about that. And most importantly, please try and enjoy the session and learn something, hopefully. So introductions, and then we'll just say what organisation we work for, or what industry, what role we have, and then a fact about yourself. Can be a fun fact, some facts, yeah. So I will go first. My name is Lexi. This is what I do, basically. So training person, basically, for, yeah. So, and then a fact about myself is I have lived in both Australia and New Zealand. So who would like to go first?
Well, I can go first if you like. My name's Lily. I am currently an interior architect at a design and build company for workplace design. And a fact about me, I'm not a very interesting person. My hobbies, I'm quite arty. I like to paint, and I like to read as well.
Hey, Megan.
So my name is my name is Megan. I'm a support worker for a company called Riverside. A fun fact about me is that this year I will have lived in Manchester for 9 years, which is slightly scary.
That's a long time.
I don't like to think about it.
No. So nice that we've got kind of a broad spectrum of what people do and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how the opinions and stuff differ based on different industries and stuff. So yeah, let's get going. So aims and objectives, as you can see here. Most importantly, we're going to understand what leadership means and look at almost what it means to you at the start, what it means to you at the end, and see if that changes. and be able to explain how leadership development can benefit organisations. So, all right. Any questions so far?
Nope, all good, thanks.
Don't think so.
Right, so firstly, as you are aware, I sent you some testing things, testing form for your prior to the session, so thank you for completing them and sending them back to me. I have used your knowledge based on that to sort of amend and change this presentation, and just focusing on the bits that we're not as confident on. Again, we can look at different things if you would like. So those included questions of the definition of leadership and benefits and how you could apply leadership. So we will look at them at the end of the session as well. All right. Okay, so here we go. So as you can see here, leadership is a process of social influence which maximises the efforts of others towards the achievement of a goal. So like looking at your common goal and working towards it, pushing people and trying to get the best out of those. What does leadership mean to you?
I think that like in leadership in the workplace can be like delegating roles in order to achieve the goal, and also like to encourage people like to fulfill the goal, because if everyone is you know, feeling comfortable and having a strong leadership and making you feel good, then you're more likely to work towards the goal more effortlessly.
Yeah, Megan?
Yeah, I think leadership is deciding on what work needs to be done, like it says in there, sort of goals, and then ensuring that that work is then done by the workers and whoever needs to be doing that work to achieve that goal.
Yeah. So I've got here that leaders encourage and use courage. So they stand up for what they believe in and they encourage other people to do the same. They encourage people, they use their social influence. So they, you know, they're people who sort of mix well with people, and I think it's quite important to understand that a leader doesn't necessarily mean someone's a manager. So, you know, you could be a fairly junior level of your team, but you can still be a leader in your own right. You can look towards pushing people and encouraging people to do better, to keep going, to kind of, you can look to help people. I think quite a lot of it comes from motivating others, gaining people's respect, and also building trust within relationships with other people, because ultimately, are you going to want to listen or talk or do what someone says if you don't respect them or trust them? Are you going to actually want to do that, or are you just going to go, no, I don't care? So that's something to consider as well. Okay, so going into our first activity, little match the stats activity. It's worth noting on point 3 that there are 2 answers to that one, so you kind of got to get them in the right order. So yeah, I will give you a few minutes for that. It's 11:46 now, so I'm going to give you about 4 minutes on that. So all right. Sorry. How's everyone getting on?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
It's actually quite hard.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I have to say, I think I've just guessed on all of them.
Yeah, I think sometimes that's the way to do it. Obviously, there's quite a range of numbers. Yeah, and have a talk through them if you're ready, or want to keep it a little bit longer.
And can I have some more time, please? I'm all good now. Thanks.
Okay. So we will have a look at the answers. There we go. Okay, so 77%. So point one is with C. 77% of organisations report they're currently experiencing a leadership gap. Point two is with E, and that is 63% of millennials said their leadership skills were not being fully developed. Three had D and then A. Participants undergoing leadership training improved their learning capacity by 25% and their performance by 20%. And then four was with B. Less than 5% of companies have implemented leadership development across all levels. So, firstly, how did you do? How did you get on?
Not very well.
What?
I got one right, and I'm quite shocked by some of it.
What one did you get wrong? If you don't.
I got the last one right.
Yeah, Megan, how did you do?
Better than I expected. I got 3 out of 5.
Okay.
So I got the percentages the wrong way round on question 3. But yeah, like Lily said, some of those percentages are quite shocking.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Do any of these surprise you? And I'm guessing yes from both of your answers there. Anything in particular that stood out?
For me is the first one, because I put the 77% within question 3 because I thought like it would improve their learning like by loads. Whereas really it's that they're experiencing such a big gap.
Yeah. Megan, anything to add there?
I think I agree with Lily on question 1, but also question 4, that such a tiny number of companies are actually developing leadership skills, and it's kind of a bit scary that it almost makes it sound like a lot of companies just doing their jobs blind because they've not got the leadership skills there within the job, and just to think how much better these companies could be doing if they're actually, you know, developing those leadership skills.
Yeah, absolutely. And can you relate to any of this, or was it just a total surprise and blindsided them?
think, yeah, so looking at in my company, some of the managers are just managers because they've been there for a long time. And so it's just been a natural progression for them to go from worker to manager. They've not necessarily got the leadership skills to be that manager. It's more sort of a rite of passage than because they've had that development, I think. So yeah, I can sort of relate to that a bit.
I think I can as well, because I feel like you're not often given an opportunity to like develop in a different way, like having a course or having like meetings together that can improve yourself. It's sort of just natural progression rather than actual skills you can acquire from doing practices.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely with you both on that. So yeah, they are quite surprising numbers. I think quite scary numbers as well. So yeah, I think, you know, there needs to be that push of, as you said, Megan, that, you know, people getting these management positions just because they've been there a long time or they're good at their job doesn't actually mean that they can lead as such. So actually focusing on leadership development and pushing people to, you know, have those sort of personal skills and, you know, really standing for what they believe in and encouraging others. And yeah. All right, let's move on. So we are now going on to our second task, which is the case study that I've sent. Have you both got this to hand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give you a few minutes to read through that. And then we will go through there's some questions at the bottom of that. So we will just go through that all together. Okay, how's everyone getting on with that? I'll give you a few minutes there.
Yeah, I think I'm okay.
Yeah.
Ready? All right, so I've got it on my screen. Has everyone got it in front of them, or do you want me to put it on the main screen?
And I got it in front of me, it's fine.
Yeah, all good. Okay, so yeah, there were a few questions at the bottom, so we'll just talk through them. Everyone's all right with that. Okay, so what leadership traits are exhibited in this case study?
I would say forward thinking, courage, not following a crowd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think standing up for what you believe in as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so the only one that I would say was missing was maybe self-reflection. And it wasn't necessarily from Peter Weaver. But the other ones, actually, the other leaders sort of, even though they maybe didn't necessarily show those strong leadership traits in the main bulk of it, actually at the end they were able to reflect on the situation and what had happened, and hopefully learn from that and see the example that he set and go, oh, okay, well, maybe I can do that too.
Yeah.
If you were in Weaver's shoes, what would you have done? Would you have done what he did, or would you have just followed the crowd, do you think?
I would like to think that I would stand up for what I believe in. But I think I could possibly just follow everyone else and agree with everyone else just because that's what everyone else is doing.
It's the easier thing to do, to follow everyone else. I think I'd have only have done what he had have done if I was like extremely certain, which 9 times out of 10 you're not.
Yeah. So it is, you know, knowing your own beliefs and having the courage to follow them, isn't it? It's that sort of going, okay, well, this is what I stand for, and this is what I believe in. Okay. And yeah, let's skip those sort of bits, but I think we've got most of that down. So okay. Can you recall a time you or a colleague have been an effective leader?
The other day I had an incident where I'm not the leader of the business, but I had to become a leader because there was a big decision that needed to be made there and then with whether the manifestations could go on the wall or not, and I just took it upon myself to make the decision, because if not, nothing would have got done and there was no one else to ask. But I could have just said, oh, I don't know, but then that would have wasted time and money and resources. So
yeah. And I'm going to hand this one over to Megan. Can you think of a new way you could incorporate leadership into your daily work?
I think, firstly, having a lot of genuine thought as to what your values are and what it is you believe in, and then making sure that those values are reflected in work for yourself and for your colleagues as well. I think, but you're not going to be able to do that and be that leader if you don't actually know what it is you're believing in. So yeah, having that sort of introspection first, and then putting that out into the world, I think.
Yeah, lovely. Yeah, so I think, it's the ability to make those decisions when they need to be made, and sort of taking it upon yourself, and then believing in what you believe and standing by it, I think, as well. So just to run through some benefits of the organisations, because I know that some of those you might not have thought of when you were doing your testing, so hopefully these sort of broaden. So just to read through them: increased productivity and creative problem solving, increased employee engagement, reduced turnover and the associated costs. Obviously, it costs more to hire someone than it does to train and develop someone, even though I think some organisations maybe don't believe that, as training can have quite a big cost. But actually, when you look at it long term, sort of that talent retention is better. It increases trust, innovation, morale and motivation, communication and individual confidence, and increases revenue. So yeah, any of those that come as a surprise? You've not thought of any of some of those? What are you thinking?
I think it's this confidence aspect. That's what I've learned the most. I never really would have thought of that in leadership. Like, you've got to believe in yourself in order to, for everyone to believe and respect you and what you're saying.
I think the increased revenue, actually. I think a lot of what you've been talking about with leadership is to do with yourself in terms of your confidence and your values and everything. So to actually then have that reflect in a monetary way, in like a physical way, I think that's something I've not really thought of before, but is something surprising for me.
Lovely. And we are nearly at the end. So a quick quiz. We don't have that much time, so we're gonna just run back through these. Can you briefly define leadership? Anyone?
It is when a person influences others, like socially, to achieve a goal that they all aspire to achieve, and then it will make people apply more effort if they trust you.
Yeah. Benefits of leadership. 1H.
I think increased revenue for the company.
Yeah, Lily.
Making the people respect your decisions.
Yeah.
With trust.
Anyone else? One more.
Increased employee retention.
Yeah.
Which then saves the company money as well.
And this one's a tough one. Not sure if we can remember the exact number. What percentage of millennials said their leadership was not being fully developed?
63%.
Yeah.
I'll be so proud.
Indeed, 63%. And going back to it, what does leadership mean to you?
Well, I now feel like it means that if I'm being the leader, then I have the confidence in myself to, delegate the roles and make people trust me.
Yeah, okay.
I think standing up for what you believe in, for yourself and for the people that you work with.
Yeah, lovely. All right then. So just a quote to leave you on: the single biggest way to impact an organisation is to focus on leadership development. There is almost no limit to the potential of an organisation that recruits good people, raises them up as leaders and continuously develops them. Which I think, Megan, you touched on briefly of when we looked at the match the stats of actually that such few companies focus on that. So imagine what they can do if they do develop. So yeah. All right then. Thank you very much. I hope you've learned.
Yeah, it was good. Thank you.
Justin?
You will be getting a test out and feedback thing. I do ask that you can just do that. Get back to me in 2 days, just because it'll help me see the knowledge retention and stuff. So if there's anything else you want to focus on or come back with any questions, please let me know. All right.
Brilliant.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.